Hi everyone, and welcome to the Libra January 2023 Illumination Reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. So hi everyone, and welcome. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has continued to support this channel. I appreciate it beyond words, so thank you so much. And for anyone new, welcome. Now, I'm doing these readings a little differently. I'm shortening them up a bit, but I'm also going to be starting to do more readings. I'm going to start to do one reading per sign a week because I've noticed that when I focus on a shorter time period instead of looking at the whole month ahead, the messages are more clear and concise. So it's kind of helping us go along our road a little bit more in baby steps and in big chunks. So Libra, I hope you enjoy this message. So this message is really for the week or around 7 days after you watch this video. Okay, so let's take a look here. First, I'm going to pull a card to take a look at what you're bringing your energy into the week. Then we're going to take a look at what's going on around you. And then we'll take a look at any challenges that are presenting themselves and how to overcome them, and any opportunities that are also going to be presenting themselves. All right, Libra, so we have the Five of Swords as your internal energy. Now, this is one where this can be kind of a combative energy. This is one where we're ready to, as you can see in this image, we're ready to kind of stand our ground, and we really don't care who we hurt or who we have to argue with in the process, even if it means we have to lose some friends or other people in our life. Now, it can be less combative or less kind of negative in the sense that sometimes we also have to get to this place where we kind of need to own our truth. We need to own our own opinions, and we need to stand firm in them, even if it does mean that others in our life might have to walk away. And I get the feeling, it's interesting. For some of you, you might have a Scorpio in your life, or strong Scorpio placements, because Scorpio got a similar message to this. And they were being really asked to embrace that energy, the positive side to the Five of Swords. So for many of you, you may be having to do the same thing, that you're kind of getting firm in defending yourself on a certain level, and defending yourself from a mental place. This could even be defending yourself from your own negative mental thoughts. That's also very strongly intuitively coming in here. So let's take a look at what's going on around you guys. And that can be a hard thing. It can be a hard thing when we've for a long time believed something about our experience, about ourselves, about what we're capable of, or even about other people in our life. And we find ourselves having to kind of change that and stand firm now with a new truth. Because you also have the Hermit in your external environment, which is a card that really speaks to going within. This is the energy of really, I think for many of you, you're going to find that this next week for you is going to be one of, it's going to allow you to be very reflective. It might actually be a slower week, or it might be just a week where you find yourself, and it's interesting because this is coming through intuitively for me as well, for you guys, is that you might find yourself as you're kind of looking at where you want to stand firm in your convictions, that you might find kind of some mirroring going on. Now, what do I mean with that, with people in your external environment? It means that you might actually, as you're starting to become clearer and clearer as to what you want to hold firm to, and possibly also a new truth that has come in for you guys, or just standing firm in the truth of who you are, that you might see yourself reflected in others around you. And that's going to cause you to go even deeper into yourself, into finding really what is that kind of buried dream. What is it that you uniquely bring to a scenario? So you might actually see other people in your life in a different way, and you might actually start to see the magic that they bring to the situation. And you are kind of bringing that back to yourself and realizing, well, if they can hold firm in who they are, and I see their value, I see the need for this lovely individual in my life, then what do I bring on that same capacity? When I am in a group setting, who am I, and why am I important, and how does this tie back to what I want to follow? What is the light that I want to shine out there? Now, looking here at kind of what's in your past leading up to the present, there was some heartache. Something happened that was very wounding in the past, whether this is in the far, far past or whether this was recently, but something really hurt you. That's the Three of Swords here. And it's the ghosts of that wound that play in our minds that then kind of trickle down into our heart and pierce it, as you see here. And with death coming in after that, this is the release of this heartache. This is like finally getting to that point where it's time to let it go. Death is the ultimate release. Now, it doesn't mean that there was a physical death. It means that now, for some of you, this could be a very specific message. For one or two, it might have involved a physical death. This could be the heartache around somebody in your life who passed away. But for the majority of you, what I'm hearing more of is that this was just finally the release. It's time to let that go. It's time. It's almost like it's time to pull those swords out. Realize you've already healed. And now you get a chance at a rebirth, because with the Page of Pentacles in your current energy right now, this is a fact-finding energy. This is one where you get to go out with that childlike curiosity with something tangible. That's what the Pentacles refer to. And you get to go out and see what you can do with it. So this always, to me, kind of brings in the energy of not only the curious, optimistic child, but also one of opportunity, because we're going to discover something new about what we have, whatever this little thing is for us. And in addition to that, it can also mean that other people are going to come in and provide us with information, with that little tidbit that we're like, I don't know what to do with this now. I've had to release some heartache, some wounding. I have something now in the present, and I'm getting clear as to what I want to stand firm in. But I kind of need that next, okay, where do I go with this from here? So let's go ahead and see here what else is going on. Now, this is a beautiful opportunity right now for you really to dive into your own magic. What do you uniquely as Libra bring? Okay, I'm going to pull some cards here. We're going to take a look at the blocks and then advice from Spirit as to how to overcome them. And then we'll see ultimately where this opportunity might be coming in here. I'll pull some additional clarifiers as well after we pull the main cards. All right, Libra. So let's see. What does Libra need to know about the energy of this week? What does Libra need to know about the energy of the week? The Fool. Beautiful. So this is your main point of challenge. This is truly the release. Death is that kind of finality as to putting the past behind you. The Fool is the start of the new journey. It is literally the number 0 in the tarot. It is the first card in the major arcana, and it represents us. The whole journey of the tarot is the journey of the Fool. So this is the start. It's almost like you've wiped the slate clean probably on a mental and emotional level, even though swords are coming in here. I think for many of you, this was really in the mental plane. And now you get this beautiful opportunity to literally kind of happily jump off the cliff into the new. But this is also your block, your main point of challenge. And I think for many of you, you're kind of fighting, you're fighting this opportunity to do something new. And in fighting that, and fighting moving into this new cycle, whether this is jumping into a new career path, whether this is jumping back out into the dating world after having heartache in a relationship, whether this is moving to a new location because an old location no longer suits you, maybe is tied to whatever happened here. I think for many of you, you might be blocking yourself with the Five of Swords. Even though you're kind of getting very clear as to who you are and what you want to stand firm, this can also be one where you're kind of fighting the change. And what's on the other side of the change? The Queen of Wands. Fiery, attractive, kind of magical, witchy energy. And that's what's waiting for you. That's what Spirit's really wanting you to move into, but you have to take that leap first. And yeah, so we have the Hanged Man at the heart of your reading. This is what Spirit's asking you to embrace right now to really help you take this big leap into the new. The Hanged Man is a change of perspective that Spirit kind of places upon us by having something come to a halt in our life and then forcing us to sacrifice something for that change in perspective, which will allow us to open up and unlock something necessary in our experience, something that's going to aid us in our spiritual growth and actually push us further down our path. So for some of you, you may have had to sacrifice something here. This is the Three of Swords. This is sacrificing, name it, whatever pain you went through that was associated with a kind of almost like a complete transformation of yourself, where a part of yourself physically had to almost in a way die, or mentally had to die. This can be an ego death where we were hurt so bad by somebody who cheated on us or who left us. We were hurt so bad by a company who fired us, something along those lines, or we ended up having to lose something. We had to sacrifice something. But I think for many of you now, you can have the chance to see it from a new perspective, to say, you know what? That's where everything changed for me. And now I see that with this new perspective, I'm realizing it's time for the new. I'm ready. I can put this past behind me. I see how somehow this compromised my ability to see my importance, but also compromised my ability to really step up into this fiery, passionate energy. And it's time for me to go back out there again. I'm hearing it's time to try again. So yeah, we have the Hierophant. Hierophant is a card about our beliefs. What do you believe about yourself? It's a card of where it's the rules, it's the structures that we choose to follow. It's whatever that is. And a lot of times that can be just even within our own mind. Like we've told ourselves that we have to achieve something, or we have to follow these internal rules. I have to every day work really hard to achieve what I want. It's that kind of mindset. This can also be anything that we kind of tie ourselves to because we choose to follow societal rules or religious rules or things along that line. So this can sometimes represent a marriage or some type of contract that we kind of tie ourselves to because, again, it's something that is seen as acceptable in the eyes of whatever we're choosing to kind of hold ourselves accountable to. I think for many of you, though, you have this beautiful opportunity to really, I think, see beyond what you've currently, in fact, it could be with this change of perspective. I think for many of you, it's a change in perspective as to what you believed you could accomplish or what you actually realize now you didn't need to hold yourself accountable to. This could be something where the pain of the past is tied to maybe a failed marriage. And you told yourself you had to get married by a certain age because that's what your family members told you. That's what society has told you. And it didn't end well. And now you have this opportunity to go out and try again or to do something completely different. That this whole whatever happened here has freed you up to literally kind of as this like truly 0 point, no baggage, clearly jump into something new. And it may be showing you, you know what? I don't have to get married. I can just go out and have fun with a partner. Or in fact, I don't even need a partner to enjoy my life. Maybe I focus so much on that. And in reality, the Queen of Wands, the fire within me is that I want to create. I want to be artistic. Or I want to go out into the world and see how far I can go with a career. It might be something along those lines, or the reverse. Maybe this was a heartache around, going to school and graduating and getting that job and working your way up. And now you suddenly realize after all of that was taken away, I don't need to work like that. I don't have to work 60 hours a week just because that's what I've been told is how you make money. I can do it a different way. I can tap into my passion to maybe do it an easier way. And that's where the fact finding kind of comes in. What is that easier way? How can you change something? And how can you make it feel like you're literally kind of being reborn? Like you're waking up in the morning and you're realizing, yeah, my whole life is ahead of me today. What can't I do? And there's always with the Fool too, there's this kind of blind faith that he knows when he jumps off that cliff, Spirit has his back and will catch him. That there'll be a net that comes out, or like that scene in Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, there'll just be that invisible walkway ready for him to go across. But there's really stems with a change in perspective around your beliefs, around what you need to accomplish feeling, I think, whole in a heart space for yourself. Yeah, I knew the Tower was coming in. Okay, so we have the Seven of Wands and the Tower. So Seven of Wands is your main point of your last point of challenge. So the Fool is your first, and the Seven of Wands is the last. And the Seven of Wands is actually a very similar energy to the Five of Swords. It's just bringing it down now into your passions and actions. So this is defending a perspective or a truth about yourself from the mental plane. And the Seven of Wands is defending your actions, why you're taking them, what you're passionate about. And I think for many of you, the Tower coming down, there's this realization of how much you've been defending something, but haven't been taking action on it, or realizing that what you've been defensive about no longer holds true to yourself. And that's where the Tower comes in. The Tower comes in to finally liberate you, to finally clear out all that clutter and to show you the beauty of the Tower, especially with the Hermit coming in here. So the Tower comes down when we have held ourselves too long in a place of stagnation, where we've actually kind of built up this tower around us. We're up at the very top, hiding in there saying, well, this is all I can have. This is safe. This is secure. This is what I know. But yet the Tower is preventing you from looking up into the night sky and seeing your guiding star. And what is that star? That is our great hope, dream, wish for ourselves. And so finally, Spirit has to come in and say, we're so sorry, but we can't keep watching you suffer alone in that tower. And so the Tower comes down. And what does that mean? That means that there is a loss of a job. That means that a job that no longer serves you. That is the partner that walks out on you because that partnership did not serve you. This is something in your life that you had kind of clung to out of, but it's stable, or this is what I've always done. And suddenly that stability is kind of ripped out from underneath you. This could be even a health crisis. This could be where you've always been a really healthy person and you've counted on the fact that you're healthy and your body can get you through anything, and suddenly you suffer a major health crisis. And all of a sudden, it's opened up your eyes to, again, what you haven't been wanting to see, which is your star. And the beauty of the Hermit is the realization that that star actually doesn't lie without. We have to see it to be reminded of it, but that star actually lies within. We were born with a dream, a unique set of needs and hopes that need to be fulfilled for us to emotionally connect to our experience. And that's the magic that lies within us. And that's what the Hermit puts in his lantern to guide his next step forward. It would be like the Fool getting the light of the lantern to say, oh, I see the shimmering path. I know now I can confidently take a step off of this precipice here and know that there's an invisible walkway. And so I think for many of you, that's the realization of something dramatic had to happen in order for you to reconnect with that, with kind of seeing your experience from a new perspective, seeing the people in your life who love you, see the ones maybe who aren't supportive of you, seeing what doesn't work and what does, and then realizing, well, where am I in all of that? And I feel like many of you might have lost yourself in that process. And now you're coming back to it and realizing, okay, here it is. And I'm going to hold my lantern sacred, and I'm going to get prepared to take that leap. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to quickly pull some clarifiers here before we pull our final card for the reading. So let's get a little deeper into this Fool energy here. What does Libra need to know about the Fool? Ooh. Four of Coins and the Hanged Man. So we have the Hanged Man again coming in here. Yeah, you're holding back. I think there's a change in perspective of where you've seen you've been holding yourself back. The Four of Coins is kind of almost like a lower arcana version of this major arcana card of the Tower. It is where we have just enough in the physical. We feel okay, there's some level of security. We have our 4, it's the setup of a strong foundation. But yet, if you notice in the image in this card, yeah, that person may have the makings of a tent, and it might be just enough to keep out the winter wind. But is there really room in there for others? Is this really the protection the individual needs to keep out the cold that's whipping around them in this wintry landscape? And it's saying, I think for many of you, what you've realized is you put yourself kind of alone out here. This is all I have. This is all I'm worth. This is it. And that change in perspective is there's a whole wide world out there. You just had to open up your mind and see it. You just have to realize that you've been long held back by a set of beliefs, either someone forced upon you that you decided to take on for yourself, or that you just kind of went in line with, what society's told you, what your family's told you, what your religion's told you, whatever it is that you've decided this was what I had to do, and this is all I'm capable of. And this is the realization of, there's a whole lot more. And this is really showing you, I think, where you've been holding yourself back from some time, from making this fresh start, going out into the great wide world to do a lot more than you have currently. Queen of Wands, 6 of Wands, beautiful, success, recognition, being seen for the beauty of who you are. And that's what you've been blocking yourself on. You've been blocking yourself from realizing this part of yourself and having it truly be seen and honored. And this is, praise. Okay. So 3 cards fall out on the floor for the Hanged Man. We have the Chariot. And it's interesting because these 2 cards came out reversed, but I'm going to show them up here. We have the 7 of Wands again and the Knight of Swords. Chariot's a beautiful card. This is one of getting back in the driver's seat of your own life. You get your head and your heart, your 2 horses in alignment. You get in that driver's seat and you whip them and you start going. And what the Chariot is always moving towards its final destination. And what is that final destination? The place that ultimately feels like home for you. So there is this realization, I think, for many of you of where you kind of paused on that journey and where now it's time, you see it in a new perspective. It's time for me to get going. Now with the Knight of Swords and the 7 of Wands, the Knight of Swords is one of kind of, I always call it like the truth bomb kind of energy where someone races in and shares their truth and doesn't really care, if they hurt somebody's feelings or they don't care to hear what other people have in response. They're just going for it. They're going for it and they're communicating, and that's what's happening. And then we have the 7 of Wands, which is again that defensive energy, defending what I'm choosing to do or not do. And I think for many of you with this coming up reversed, you're releasing this energy. You're releasing possibly a side to yourself that really embodied this, where maybe you were kind of going in and just being like, no, this is my truth and this is what I'm doing. And, this is this person will come back, or this job, I just have to do it again at another job, or I just, I can't move because, yada, fill in the blank for whatever you've been defending. And this is saying something's happened. It's caused you to realize it's time to release this energy. And it's time to just simply get in your chariot and start going. You don't need to explain yourself to anybody. This can be explaining. This could be constantly trying to explain yourself, defend your actions. And you don't have to do that anymore. You're free, Libra. You're free to do what you want. We each have our own chariot. And sometimes we have to realize that there might only be room in that chariot for one person. Or you get to choose who comes with you. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, so for the Hierophant, we have the 2 coins. A change in your routine. The 2 coins is us juggling our day-to-day responsibilities. And I think for many of you, this came through strongly for Leo in the Leo reading, that a simple change in your day-to-day routine can literally change everything in your life. So this really speaks to, what do we prioritize? Do we just kind of get lost in doing the day-to-day and then suddenly we wake up and 20 years has gone by and we haven't emotionally connected with our life? We haven't pushed the boundaries of what's capable for us? Or do we prioritize something and remain aware and vigilant in each day, the activities that we do? And we prioritize the ones that help the chariot move forward. Okay. Let's see. What does the I'm going to pull for the Seven of Wands in the Tower, Strength, and the Knight of Wands. I love it. Okay, beautiful. So Strength is a card that harnesses the energy of Leo, that kind of lion-hearted courage we all need. And the Knight of Wands is Sagittarian energy. It's going out and having fun. It's doing what feels good. This is saying you don't need to defend what you do to anybody. You just need to go out there and do what feels good. Do it and have the strength to do that. This can be hard. This can be really hard when we have told ourselves, but no, I have to be accountable to working at this job. And if they ask me to work overtime, then I have to do it because that's how you make money. You just have to work hard. And that's how that's what life should be all about, getting, working the way up the corporate ladder or whatever it is. And this is saying, but I think you forgot about your own passion. There's the Queen of Wands hiding in there and she's ready to come out. I think you forgot your adventurous soul. And it's time to have the strength now to face the reality of you've put these rules on yourself. No one else has. Sometimes we can get to a place where we get into a little bit of the blame game of like, oh, my family told me I had to be this way. Or I told myself that I would have to have a family and then be beholden to them. And there gets to be almost this kind of like victimization quality of that, of like, well, I have to keep working at a job I hate because I have to support the family. Or, society has told me that I had to do something a specific way. And so, well, I'm just going to have to do it. And it's like, but no, it's not on anything. We are the ones in our own head, choosing to think our own thoughts, choosing to see the world from our own perspective. And we're also each on our own individual path. And there is no set of beliefs put on you outside of what you choose to believe. And that's the ultimate liberation here. That is the true freedom, that when we can get to that place of realization that the world really holds no bounds for us except the ones that we choose to follow. There are rules. People can say, oh yeah, well, in order for me to live without going to jail, I have to follow these rules. Oh, that's true. But you could also break them and maybe there's nobody to watch and you get away with it. Or you break the rule and you suffer the consequence once you get caught. But that's your choice. No one is literally in your head telling you to follow these rules. You choose to do so because of the consequence, because of the result. So keep that in mind, that again, it's on us to truly be liberated internally and to realize that every choice we make and every decision, even the tiniest decision we make throughout the day, bolsters our own feeling of freedom, our own innate feeling of liberation within ourselves. So this can be where literally you're like, I am tonight going to prioritize myself. I love my family. I am here to support them, but I'm also no longer going to attribute to the belief that I must suffer or sacrifice in order for everyone to be healthy and happy. There's a different way that I can provide for my family in a way that is more honoring to me. Or there's another way that I can be of use and service in the career path that I've chosen that doesn't involve me having to, work extra time and overtime to where I've lost sight of my eternal flame. And I think that's really what Spirit's asking you to get back in touch with here, because that's what Spirit wants. Spirit wants each one of our flames to be inside of us, burning bright. Because when we all burn bright, the light that can be seen is exponential. That's how we get to truly raise the entire vibrational frequency of our experience. That's how we serve the greater collective. By taking care of ourself first and really keeping the home fires burning within ourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull in 2 additional cards here. So for additional messages from Spirit this week, it says surrender to your soul's path. I love that. So again, I feel like many of you are just getting back in touch. It's almost like you guys had a pause for a while. you kind of lost sight of the path, and it's like, woo, you finally got the light back on and you see the path ahead. And it says, your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. So anything that you've had to go through in the past has only been part of that path and is pushing you now to continue on ahead. It says, surrender to receiving support and love. Allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. And I love that. Yeah. There are others in your life, Libra, that love you, that want to support you, and that want to see you happy. And no one wants to see someone suffer or suffer in a way. No one wants to watch somebody sacrifice and suffer to keep themselves happy, if that makes sense. So if there's another person in your life or friends or family, most family members don't want to see you suffer. They want to hear your pain. They want to understand what you're releasing, and they want to help you on this new path ahead. So really, really keep that in mind here. Beautiful message, Libra. All right, I'll leave it there. I will see you all again for next week's illumination reading. If you'd like to book your own personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website to learn more about myself and the services I offer. Otherwise, I will see you all next week, sending you lots of love on your personal journey forward. Bye, Libra.